Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and today I want to talk about Star Wars. You know, with all the news coming out about Star Wars Episode 7, which is just uber exciting for me. You know, I'm loving the casting. I'm loving the returning cast and everything like that. Everything I'm hearing about this film, it has my, speculation and questioning definitely at a fever pitch and everything like that. But one of the things that I thought was interesting, I asked a question, I think it might have been on Facebook a couple of years back now. I don't exactly remember if I did this in a video or not. Could go searching through them, but forget that. I asked a question about the, sort of special editions of the classic trilogy, all of those editions that have come out subsequently on VHS and DVD since 1997. With every subsequent release, George Lucas had added something to it or tweaked something already existing and such like that, even up until the most recent Blu-ray release, I think last year as of the time of this recording. There were still tweaks being made, and he kept going back to the well over and over and over again. And I got to the point where I was fascinated by this question of, if there is ever another trilogy, or even if there isn't, which version of that original classic trilogy do you kind of hold to as being the one that is most canon, or the one that is, the most meaningful and such like that? I mean, for some people it's the theatrical cuts, and for some people it is, in fact, they trust in George Lucas's vision and trying to perfect that vision time and time again. And I kind of fall in between, where I see what made, the original theatrical cuts so special, but I also do like, at least the last DVD release that has both the most recent sort of special edition tweak, but also it has a second disc where you have the original theatrical cuts. That's what I own, and that's where I stopped it off. That's pretty much what I consider to be enough is enough. This is, going to answer to all my wants and needs for a, Star Wars fan, the fandom that I have. And so now that we're entering an age where we actually literally have a new trilogy of films coming, they're actually currently filming Episode 7 as I'm speaking now, as of the time of this recording. Well, that calls into question for me. Now it's not so much a matter of, what matters most to you anymore, you the specific fan, but I think it actually legitimizes the question that much more so. Which one is the most factual? Which one is, which incarnation of these classic trilogy films? Because ever since the prequels, we've had so many incarnations and iterations released. There are little differences here and there. Some are major differences. And which one is the one that is the closest to fact? Which is the one that, these new trilogy of films will be taking off from and everything like that? I mean, we're not just talking about, who shot first, Han or Greedo. We're talking about the major elements that changed. One of the biggest has to be the Force spirit of the young Anakin Skywalker at the end of Return of the Jedi. All of that sequence at the end of Return of the Jedi in the new format and everything like that. Of course, we had something drastically different in the original trilogy, and it just, when you have this many incarnations of the same trilogy, that you can point back to which of them are the most legit, entering this new phase of the Star Wars universe, I guess, is the overriding question. Now, one could argue that maybe it's just the overarching story and you don't have to look at the finer details, but when some of those finer details actually amounted to as much as they did and actually shifted the focus of the story and everything like that, I mean, the whole concept of Darth Vader being Luke and Leia's father, this was a shocking twist in the story. This was something everyone was like just bottomed out. They were so shocked finding this out, to match the shock of the characters themselves. And then you have a situation where, now because of the prequel trilogy, well, we knew this all along. We have this concept all along. Oh, Skywalker, that kind of thing. We're going to see Anakin growing up and he's going to become Darth Vader. And so it reworked the focus of the entire, 6-movie franchise. And again, going into a new trilogy framework, I mean, we're going to be dealing with the progeny of those original characters. We're going to be dealing with a whole new era of Jedi and potentially Sith. We don't really know at this early stage in the game how that's all going to play out. But I just think it's a fascinating, query at this juncture to ponder which of that classic trilogy are the ones closest to reality, are the ones that actually matter the most in entering this new trilogy. I just think this is a very interesting question because of those changes, minor or huge though they may be. You end up with a different story. You end up with a different framework depending on how they're ushering into this new trilogy. And you may find that, once this new trilogy is said and done, certain things that you thought were meant to be the way it is are completely unwritten or completely sidewinded or something like that. So yeah, I wanted to throw this out there to my fellow movie fans and Star Wars fans. Which you think of the incarnations that have been released of all of the classic, series trilogy, from that 1997 special edition through all of the different subsequent DVD versions and even that final Blu-ray version? I mean, again, you can say some of those tweaks are relatively minor in the grand scheme of things, but I still think even every little seemingly insignificant change is a change nonetheless. And so, if it's constantly being changed and gone back to and revamped and tweaked, well, it just doesn't quite add up unless you pinpoint which one of all of those sequences of changes matters the most. And I would love to pick your brain and find out what you think. So otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this, and I'll catch you all later. May the Force be with you.